Good morning, all of my Facebook friends. Today I am here with another question from a reader. So, as long as I keep getting these questions, I'm going to keep answering them because the odds are if you have a question, somebody else has the same question. I really do want to help you guys take control of your own health so you can stop relying on ineffective medical care because I know, we all know that, oftentimes that's not the answer. Again, doctors are so great for acute issues, for something that there is a cure for, right? But for some of these hormonal issues, for some of these more chronic illnesses, there just isn't a cure, right? So you can kind of stop going from doctor to doctor to doctor, trying to figure out, what pill you can get or what diagnosis you can get, because none of those things will actually help you, right? It's definitely a rabbit trail that you are going down, and you're spending time and you're spending money and you're getting more and more frustrated trying to figure out, if I just have this diagnosis or if I have this prescription, then everything will be better. And I'm telling you from experience and from working with hundreds and hundreds of clients, that is not the case. So today we're going to talk a little bit about hormones, my primary specialty and my first love. Well, Bo Woodward is my first love, but hormones are a close second. And the question I got is, hi Jennifer, I was reading about natural supplements to help with hormones. As we age, I know our estrogen levels drop. We struggle with inflammation and gut issues. Then she mentions a certain project or product on Facebook. Hi Jen, good morning. That is called Provitalize, and she was wondering what my thoughts were about that. But upon questioning her further, and like, what are your symptoms? Why do you feel like you have low estrogen? Because again, if you've heard me talk before on estrogen, remember, estrogen serum levels are not a reliable indicator of what estrogen levels are in your body. If you go to the doctor and your blood work shows that you have low estrogen, but you're experiencing all of these symptoms of PMS or high estrogen, odds are that all of that estrogen is actually bound up in your fat tissue, especially if you have an extra 5 to 50 pounds on you, that excess estrogen is definitely going to be stored up in your fat tissue. That's what the body does. It's designed to keep estrogen in your fat tissue because women need to have periods and women are designed to have babies. So it is a good thing that we keep estrogen in our tissues, but it also is a reminder that it's not a reliable indicator of what serum blood estrogen is not a reliable indicator of how much estrogen you actually have in your body. Now, let's say you're high in estrogen because you might drink a lot of coffee, you might drink a lot of alcohol, you might be exposed to a lot of plastics or phytochemicals, a lot of BPA from personal care products or plastics. You're going to have more estrogens in your tissue. In Bakersfield, California, where I practice, I see a lot of women who have symptoms of elevated estrogen, but don't necessarily have the correlating blood work. That's why we have to go a step further and realize it's not just the blood work. Okay, labs are great, and the FDN motto is test, don't guess, but FDN also works with functional lab work. So we don't work with traditional blood work because again, it can't tell us everything. Not only because the markers are a little bit different, but because the parameters are not reliable either. If you think about the people who are going in to get lab work, these are people who don't feel good, right? And so those boundaries that we have, low to high ranges of different hormones, different chemical markers, are not going to get you to a point where you actually feel good. So, for instance, T3. Thyroid hormone, triiodothyronine, your active form of thyroid hormone. Normal lab ranges are between 2.9 and 4.2. If you're at a 2.9 on your T3, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to be tired. Your hair is going to be falling out. Your skin's going to be dry. You're going to be constipated. You're not going to be able to lose weight. But doctors will still tell you, your thyroid's normal. So we can't really do anything about it. Go exercise more and go on a low calorie diet. You're like crying because that's all you've been doing for the past 3 years, right? So in that vein, remember that normal lab ranges are not necessarily optimal lab ranges. So when I'm looking at my client's blood work, morning, Lindsay, I'm looking for optimal lab ranges in serum blood work, but then I'm also looking at functional lab work as well, and then functional lab ranges. So there's just another layer, right, that you can go down, that you can unpeel if your health is not where you want it to be. And I know health is not everything, I get that, but I'm in the health space and I want you to feel great and I want you to be able to take control of your own health. So that's why I'm teaching you these things. All right. But the question was actually, you know, what's going on with my estrogen? So when I pressed her further, she said, she's not experiencing a lubrication issue. She sweats at night during her period and she's weepy. So yes, those can be low estrogen issues if you're around the age of menopause, and especially if your mom was an early menopauser. Is that a word? Menopauser. If your mom went through early menopause, under the age of 50, then it's possible that as a younger woman, you could have low estrogen, but odds are you actually have high estrogen, right? And you have low progesterone. So night sweats can be associated with low progesterone, not necessarily low estrogen. And night sweats are also due to hypoglycemic events. So when your blood sugar is not regulated during the day because you're under a ton of stress, because you eat a crappy diet, because you're not taking care of yourself, you're going too long in between meals, or you're eating too many processed foods, or if you're drinking alcohol most nights before bed or too much coffee earlier in the morning, your body is going to experience low blood sugar while you're sleeping. You're fasting during that time, of course, right? So, yay, everyone fasts. You don't have to do, intermittent fasting because you're already fasting. Um, but I want to make sure, that you're taking care of your blood sugar during the day. So you guys have seen me before on camera, right? I carry my little blood sugar test kit around with me if I feel like it, if I need to. And it's also something a marker I'll run in my office with all of my clients. Like, let's test your blood sugar. When's the last time you ate? What's your fasting blood glucose? And what's your postprandial or after a meal blood glucose? Those are very powerful markers of what's actually going on in your body. If your blood sugar is over 110 milligrams per deciliter, then you've got some elevated blood sugar, and that's fasted, right? After a meal, it should get no higher than 130 milligrams per deciliter. Again, those are functional lab ranges. That's where I like to see it. Good morning, Anna. And then it shouldn't really get under 70 nanograms per deciliter. It should not. It can, and you can still feel fine. And some people try to push it down low because they think it's better for them. But really, anywhere between 70 and 110 is completely normal, right? So this could be one of the reasons that you're experiencing night sweats. It's because your blood sugar levels are not normal. One thing I recommend is keep a jar of nuts by your bedside table, and if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're sweaty, eat a few nuts, okay? Or make sure you have a protein-rich snack before you get to bed to circumvent those night sweats just to begin with, all right? The other thing I recommend is running a Dutch test, which is a dried urine test for comprehensive hormones. So we can actually look at your estrogen levels and your progesterone levels, all right? That's something I do in my office. There's a few doctors, I think maybe two that I know of, that will run it in town. Insurance will not cover it. So while insurance doesn't cover me, insurance isn't going to cover you from your doctor either. So if that's something you want, reach out to me and let me know. And get an actual idea of what's going on hormonally with your body and stop guessing, right? So estrogen drops normal in women who are around menopausal age, but if you're not menopausal or perimenopausal, then it's probably due to the fact that your blood sugar is dysregulated and that you don't have enough progesterone. So work on making sure that your diet is on point. Look at your progesterone levels. Progesterone is available over the counter, but I would highly recommend that you get your progesterone levels tested. Progesterone, good morning, Natasha. Progesterone isn't necessarily like estrogen in that it's bound up in the fat tissues in the same way that estrogen is, which is why, again, I like to use a Dutch test to look at the metabolites in the urine instead of what's, in the serum, because the serum is not appropriate level of what's going on in the body. So I hope that's helpful. The last thing I was going to add, I forgot. If you are actually dealing with low estrogen and you've tested that and you've verified it and you're dealing with like a lubrication issue and you're getting hot flashes during the day, not just night sweats at night, and other indicators of menopause or perimenopause, then black cohosh is my absolute favorite herb. I get great results in my clinic putting women on black cohosh for especially hot flashes. It works like a charm. It doesn't work for everybody all the time, but it's a really powerful and effective herb for raising your estrogen levels very naturally. Again, you don't want too much estrogen, okay? So don't just take black cohosh willy-nilly. Start at the lowest possible dose. Make sure, confirm that you have low estrogen before you do it. But if that is the case, then absolutely black cohosh can be your friend during that time. All right, guys, have a great day. Pass this video on to anyone you think can benefit from it. I love to share, knowledge with people, and I hope it can benefit some people. A lot of times I said the word people. Have a great day. Bye.